We're live. All right. Let's do the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Say a few words.
Yes, let's just pray. God, we're so grateful for this new year, for the beginning of a new year. I'm not sure I've ever been looking so forward to a new year, but this is it. And so we open this meeting tonight by acknowledging your presence in our lives, which offers us hope for the future. And we acknowledge your role in establishing the founding documents of this nation that guarantees us all rights and outlines a way for us to live and work together in a way that's good for all. And we acknowledge your call in our lives to love our neighbor as we love ourselves. And so we thank you for the leadership in this room, and we pray that you would fill them with wisdom and mercy and justice and humility as they make decisions that impact us all. So thank you for hearing this prayer, and I pray that the words of our mouths tonight, the meditations of our heart might be pleasing in your sight. I pray this in your name. Amen.
Amen. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you very much.
Yep. Thank you. Here. Sneak that.
Very nice to meet you.
Take care.
George, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
So just ask everyone to speak loudly tonight so we can
Thank you very much.
Here?
pick up on here.
Okay. All right, let's get started with the abstracts, payments, and invoices. We've had a chance to take a look at the abstracts and payments. Take a motion on that?
Motion.
Second.
Motion made and seconded to pay our bills. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. All right. Department heads, we need to go right to, I think, Delaware Engineering. Is Bill on the line?
Bill, if you'd like to unmute yourself, if you can.
That work?
That works.
There you are.
There you go. Hey everybody, how you doing tonight?
Good, and yourself?
Doing good.
Good.
Happy Zooms.
Okay.
Just wanted to reach out to the board if I could. The state sent out a press release last week that they were going to start accepting applications to the Environmental Facilities Engineering Planning Grant Program, which the village applied for funding through this in 2018 with the goal of trying to identify funding to find I&I in the sanitary sewer system, which is inflow and infiltration. So funding was applied to do a study to try to find out where I&I is coming from. Like in many older systems, it is an issue where groundwater is leaking into the manholes and into the pipes, and ultimately gets to the wastewater plant, and then you pay to treat the groundwater just like you do the sewage.
Right.
So you pay to treat every gallon of water that comes into the facility, whether it's sewage or it's groundwater that leaks in. So it's to your advantage to limit that to the best extent possible. It also provides additional capacity to the facility if you've got room for future build out because you don't have groundwater coming into the system.
Right. Go ahead.
What's that?
No, go ahead.
I was just going to say that the village applied for this. This program has been around for a few years. The village applied for funding in 2018. Unfortunately, we weren't selected for the funding. We're not being mandated to do this by the state currently, so it's not something that got us a ton of points, but it is an issue where there's not a lot of reserve capacity at the wastewater plant currently with the amount of I&I that comes into the facility. Right. So it is, something that should be addressed.
I'm gonna see if I can have Eric and Steve maybe work with you on something that we can get maybe a grant written up so that we can see if we can get some monies to do this study.
Right. That's what I want to bring to the board's attention tonight. The state did open that program back up last week, and applications are being accepted through February 12th of this year. So, they gave about 6 weeks to put it together. A lot of the base leg work is done because you've already submitted an application once in 2018.
Right, we just gotta touch that one up just to bring it up to date.
Update that with any new, issues. We know we had a big storm event over Christmas. Guys were down at the plant, gloves were up. It was, a problem.
Yep.
So that's, something to make sure we include in this application.
Right,
So the goal would be to apply for funding to go out and do a study, to put cameras down the lines, to put flow meters on the lines, to find out where the water is coming from that shouldn't be coming into the system, and then come up with a plan for how to fix that. Whether it's replacing pipes or lining pipes or disconnecting things that shouldn't be connected to the sewer mains, stuff like that. But, the first part is to go out and find where is the problem. We've got X miles of pipe in the village. Where is it coming from? Is it everywhere? Is it on the south side, the north side, the east side, the west side, along the creeks, along under the river? Where's the big problem that we need to find? So that's what the purpose of the study would be, is to identify that and recommend a solution. And then that would be a basis for finding money to do the fix.
okay.
So if the board's open to that, we can kind of start vetting that, with the village, and then probably at the February meeting, come back with formal resolutions for approval to submit an application to EFC for consideration.
Okay. Everybody on the board in agreements with doing this, going forward?
Absolutely.
I feel that's good.
We need to do a motion on that, Jody, just?
Go ahead.
Okay.
Doesn't
We'll
matter.
have a motion on that then, to go ahead, go
I'll make a
forward.
motion that we apply for the grant.
Second.
Motion made second to have us go looking at this grant. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. So I'll definitely have Eric and Steve, if you're gonna be available to help give him any questions or anything he needs answers and stuff on. So those two guys will be your point guys on that, Bill.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay.
Bill, is this something to work with our elected representatives as well? Is this a similar type of grant process?
Yeah, I would definitely reach out to those folks, our state senators and assemblymen, to make sure they're aware that we're submitting an application and hope that they can, help ours get to the top of the pile, so to speak. They are going to be pretty competitive. The state's not actually kicking in any money for this. The money's coming from the feds, and the state is administering it, so there's not as much money in the pot as there has been in previous years. So it will be competitive, and any efforts we have from our folks in Albany would be helpful.
Then also Washington, so our congressional representative as well, or no?
Yeah, not as much on this one, just because it's the state awarding the funding. It's coming from the feds, but the state has control over how who gets the money. So they go through a selection process, and they have criteria for, it's not just pull a name out of a hat. They try to award funding to the most needy projects. We just have to demonstrate in our application that we're one of the most needy.
Bill, we've been doing a lot of work already, haven't we? Sealing manholes, trying to stop the I&I. Does that get us any brownie points toward such an award?
No, unfortunately.
No?
I'd like to say yes, but it doesn't. It's I&I is kind of a death by 1,000 cuts kind of a thing. It's a little bit here, it's a little bit there. It's something that even on a brand new system is an issue. So that, being, how many years, not that the village has the oldest system in the state by any means, but
It's climbing up there though.
The nature of our soils and how water gets around and stuff, it makes it easy for water to get in the pipes. So it's a problem. It's something we've always got to look at. It's something the village has tried to do a little bit at a time. And if we can leverage some state dollars beyond just the dollars that the village has kicked in, it helps us.
Yeah. Some of the stuff we have done has helped, I think, quite a bit, but it's like putting a Band-Aid on it. So I think this here's a good way to go to maybe get a good start on maybe fixing a lot of bigger problems we have with the water, or the sewer system. Okay, anybody else got questions for Bill? Do you have anything else for us, Bill?
Nope, I don't think so. We'll come back in February and have a formal application for the board to look at, and I'll get with you guys and we'll get it vetted out.
Okay, sounds good. Thanks a lot.
All right, thank you.
Yep.
Good night.
You too.
Thank you.
Thanks, Dave.
All right, Department of Public Works. Anybody have a chance to take a look at Butch's report? They've got quite a bit of stuff, and I know they've been out checking on leaks. They found a few leaks already that were good-sized ones that'll hopefully keep our consumption of water down. Plus, there was also a couple of vacant houses that were in the village that had probably what they were broken water pipes. They were using quite a bit of water. Remember offhand how much it was?
About 15,000 a day.
Each place, so you're looking at 30,000 gallons a day. We were pouring through these two houses. Right now, they said there's nobody there, letters have been sent, and the water has been shut off. They've got to make some kind of repairs for that kind of water to go through. What else is on here that Butch has got? Coal patching, that's pretty much all set, other than taking care of the snow. Anybody, hey, anything
Picking
else?
up the Christmas trees.
Yeah, they'll be picking them up, the Christmas
They
trees.
already are.
Okay, code, Dan's gonna be here in a bit. Police department, you've got a
I have a
Good report.
couple things. One, I hope you all saw their annual report, where they have about 4,000 calls, 4,413, average about 12 calls a day.
Yep.
That they're actually handling. Seem to be doing a pretty good job. Also, in that context, we had two officers in training. One of them did not pass the academy, Ryan Senek. He will no longer be working for us. Morgan Seaman did pass. She graduated from the police academy, and the police chief is asking that we raise her pay, which is $15 an hour right now to $20 an hour, which is what we pay
part-time.
our part-time patrolmen.
I would make that motion.
Second.
Made and seconded to increase her pay from $15 to $20 an hour, which is part-time pay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Second request he has is for sending, Sullivan County is going to have a 3-day program to authorize breathalyzer test operators, and he would like to send Zach Finch and Morgan Seaman. And didn't give me a price on that.
I don't think
There's no
there's no
cost.
cost to that.
There's no
Yeah.
cost. We just have to pay them while they're there.
Correct.
Yeah, we just their wages while they're there.
Motion.
Second.
Motion made, seconded to send the two officers to breathalyzer school. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
The car that we have ordered is in, so we should be getting the information on having it delivered and put in service. That should be coming soon.
Okay.
The next part about the police department. As you know, the governor put out an executive order for everybody to have a police collaboration reform portion done. One of the things that we are doing right now, we have created a questionnaire to be sent out to the village. I don't know if you've all seen it. You can take a look at it. The mayor and I looked at it, and we decided that would be appropriate. There were some missteps made by some of the other departments when they started doing this.
So it kind of helped us.
Which kind of helped us. We tried to avoid all the missteps that they made. We're asking for these things to come in anonymously. We tried to do it in the most economical and practical way that we could, and that is we sent these forms out in the water bills. So everybody who gets a water bill should have a copy of that form. They'll also be available here at the clerk's office, or it's going to be online too, correct, Jody?
Yep.
So they can print it off there. We've asked them to bring them back here, put them in an unmarked envelope. They don't have to sign them. There's no place for any names on them. We would hope that most of them come just from village residents, and then we will have to form a committee. I would hope from people in the community, to take a look at them and see if they can come up with any recommendations and needs that we may have to change in our police department. Nothing says we have to have any changes. He just said that we should look at it and see if there are, differences of opinion of the village of whether we're providing the service they're paying for, and if they're happy with how we're supplying it. And it may come back, everybody's happy, it may come back and say, shut it down. We don't know. But we are sending those out, and we will take a look at it, try to get the answers back by mid-February, so that the committee can meet, look it over, make recommendations to us, and then it has to be approved by us if we're going to do any changes. So that's being done. Through the mail, right?
They're in the
The
mail.
water bill's out there, so some of the people are getting those things.
Yep.
I know one of the problems was that they thought the sheriff was running the whole show, which he wasn't, but it gave that indication because he was on the committee. So this is being done without any input from the chief of police until we get down to when we have the committee and recommendations, and obviously he would have to take a look and see if it's practical. And so he will be involved in it at that point. But as far as, obtaining the information and putting it together and coming up with recommendations, we're going to try to do that outside, which is what I think is what they had. They want the communities to look at and see if they're happy with what they're getting. And I think that's it.
Nice.
Is there any way to make that questionnaire, I know you said it is available online, but maybe fillable online? Like they could just, SurveyMonkey is one of the things going around.
I deliberately did not want to do something like SurveyMonkey, who just sends it out to everybody in the whole world. I don't care what's going on in Bangkok, or if anybody in Bangkok doesn't like it, or because those come back from everywhere. I really wasn't impressed with the way they did the sheriff's department in that way. You pay for it, number one. It is a paid service. They get paid by the number of signatures they get. And I think that causes a problem. We're trying to I really want to get this information from the people we serve. We're not doing it for the Sheriff's Department, I'm not doing it for Sydney Police Department, I'm not doing it for Hancock's Police Department or Delhi. It's just, are the people in Walton, the village of Walton, who we serve, who foots the bill.
Yep.
And that's the ones I want to hear from. So that's one of the reasons I didn't use a national organization or something like SurveyMonkey to get the answer. That was on purpose also. Anybody else got any questions?
We'll take it. I agree with you.
You do? Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
St. Code will be back there. Cedarwood didn't have anything. They've had a couple of incidents from Kraft over to the plant, so the guys were busy today with the power outage and stuff. It kind of sent some stuff over there, so they're dealing with that. So hopefully we'll have something more for us later on. Code enforcement will be here shortly, so let's go to the trustees report.
Steve, did
Yes.
we want to talk about those compressors or pumps or whatever?
That's right, the pumps that they said they were going to try to do, but we were waiting to hear back from New York City for the approval. So I guess what we could do is, how does I want to say that? Going to get just prior approval that we approve as long as we get contingent upon the city approving it. We've got the two quotes that were on repairing the influent pumps. The one was going to take from Seaward was just the bearings. The other company was going to take care of the bearings, the sensors and stuff. And I guess they sent that on to the city for approval. So I think maybe contingent on them approving that, which I think they will, we can approve it. It's all New York City funded on those pumps too. So I guess what we're looking for is a motion for approving the repairs to those pumps contingent on approval from the city to do the job.
I can make that motion.
And that'd be at no cost
No,
contingent.
no, it's nothing.
100%.
It's all 100% New York City on those pumps.
Yep. I will second that.
Okay, motion made second to approve the repairs to the influent seabed pumps contingent upon approval from New York City. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Pardon me?
Making sure that Zoom is still running.
Okay. Trustees report. Eric?
Spoke with Butch today, just kind of pick his brain on how everything went over the Christmas flood.
Yep.
People were on standby, and we really dodged a bullet there.
Well, I just to interrupt you real quick, just so that everybody knows that the floodplain management that has gone into down on Water Street and what's going to be going on Breakies, I think saved a whole lot of possible damage to Main Street with water coming up and stuff. So I think everybody who's had their hands in on the planning and designing of Water Street down in there, getting that cleaned out. Veterans Plaza, of course, that worked the way it's supposed to. From what I'm hearing from everybody, they're rather pleased of what happened, because it didn't happen. It worked the way it was supposed to work. So I think everybody who's involved with that really needs a good pat on the back, because I think it saved quite a few things going on downtown. So,
And everyone could remember the '96 flood,
yeah.
a winter flood, and it brings back all those memories. So
Yep.
it's,
Nope, it was, I think it was well, also, I don't want to forget to, up by the floodplain up by the country store, that also worked the way it was supposed to. All of them did. They all did what they were supposed to do. So,
they were able to work to make sure the storm drains were uncovered by the snow and
yep.
kind of mitigate what they could. And so, yeah, they've been busy, obviously, with snow removal and things
Yep.
like that. But, yep, nothing in addition, no requests.
Okay.
So,
All right, thank you. Nate?
Well, I would like to add a huzzah because of that.
Yeah.
I'm incredibly thrilled that we didn't have a Christmas flood. And it was so much fun to just watch the water flow through and not flood. There's not much, obviously, going on with the theater at the moment because we're not open. We hope to be very soon with our beautiful brand new balcony. And at the park, we are just waiting for cold weather to freeze the water so that we can have ice skating.
Yeah. The
And
guys,
hopefully, in a couple of weeks maybe, if it stays cold, we can have that.
yeah, they've been up there already. They've been using that quite a bit until it warmed up on them again.
Yeah.
But no, it's being used quite a bit. Plus, we had a member of the local snowmobile club. He ran a trail for cross-country skiing down around the Water Street, what do we call that really, but down there by the water's edge there, so they could go all the way around and do that. And he also ran the snowmobile up across Austin, Lincoln, around the outer for cross-country skiers and or snowshoers, so that they could use it. But naturally it thawed, so maybe we can do it again.
And obviously, with the cold weather now and this nice heavy snow that we have, hopefully we can get some snowmobilers to come through and use our West Street
Yep.
access
Yep.
to Speedway.
Yep.
So that would be very nice as well.
Or down in, if they've got a place where they can park and they can come down and go to restaurants to get something to eat and drive back out of town. But nope, West Street, they've got their signs and stuff up as to where to go and what to follow, so please tell everybody follow the law, because we want to make sure this works well for everybody. I think it's a benefit for everybody, for the village and for the snowmobile clubs. So,
I agree.
Yep.
That's really what I've got for this month.
okay. Mr. Doig?
Yes. Now, we have discussed before about having our court moved to the town.
Yes.
I have spoken to the town, but it didn't get me an awful lot other than a lot of head nodding. So what I propose is we write a formal letter to the town requesting them to take it up and see if they are interested in moving our court to their courtroom. It would still remain a village court, it would just be sharing the courtroom at the town. But that way, maybe their board could act on it.
Yep.
And see how they feel about it. Last month, we turned down the possibility of a grant to
Right.
try to air condition upstairs here because of the prohibitive cost and the risk that we'd be taking trying to do it. So I think we really need to move ahead on this. Our court is not handicapped accessible. It is excessively warm in the summertime up there because there is no ventilation, so to speak. So but I think we're going to have to send something to the town.
Nope, I agree with you on
So
that.
I would make a motion that Jody be allowed to mail them a letter, asking them to take it under consideration. Joe should have a copy of
Yep.
the recommendations from the state where you can save money by doing so. And it is something they are putting forward too. So,
I'd second that.
Okay. Motion made and seconded for the clerk to draft a letter about us moving our court up and sharing it with their courtroom. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
now, I don't know whether this is on the agenda or not, because I can get to the agenda. About the $300 a month we pay out for retirees with 20 years
Yes.
with the town. We need to clarify what we're paying for. As it was originally written, it was part of the bargaining agreement with the Teamsters Union. Now, as I understand, the Teamsters Union doesn't have any, do they have that anymore?
They do for everybody except the two newest people.
Anybody hired from after 5/1 of 2018, they do not get. Anybody prior to that gets it.
But the policy that was in place previously was that essentially non-binding employees of the village, those who aren't in a union, would get the same benefits as they did for the Teamsters Union. And that was, it was stated that they would receive a monthly $300 a month for insurance coverage, health insurance coverage. In the past, I know I've looked at the bills that have been paid, and they cover, generally, most of it is co-pays.
Yeah.
Not actual insurance, but co-pays with insurance. Now, obviously, insurance over the years has changed a lot, and co-pays are almost as much as the premium, or probably considerably in excess of that. But we need to take some action so that it is actually, the information is given to the clerk and the deputy clerk, so they know what bills, what they can pay for.
Yeah. Absolutely. So there's some stuff that's being turned in. I mean, me personally, I don't care that's their money coming to them. They can do certain things with it, but we need to have it clarified as to what we're going to be paying, so that the clerk and deputy clerk exactly know what can and cannot be paid for. So we
Yeah,
need
it doesn't state in here exactly what it is that they can be paid for. It says for health insurance coverage. That's all it says.
Yeah.
And it has to be approved every year. But we've never looked at the wording on it. We did talk about it, but we never took any action on it. And I think, it's time we did something.
Well, our new deputy clerk looked at it and she automatically said, this isn't clear. What can I pay for? What can I can't? So it definitely has to be spelled out better and clear as to what we're going to pay for and what we're not. So we need to get this
Well, right now,
taken care of before next month, or even sooner if we can.
well, we need to do something this month, correct, Jody?
I think it has to be by the end of this month.
Well, no, they've already submitted their bill.
Right.
All right, now, the question is, do we want to pay them or don't we want to pay them? And what is it we're going to cover? No, I think we got to do something now.
Okay. Does anybody have any ideas on what you would like to see done?
I referred back to all the contracts and to what we have written in the village book, and the language is very ambiguous. It just says exactly that. The retiree will be awarded the sum of $300 toward health insurance, period. It doesn't stipulate or specify. But there were some glaring submissions made that the new clerk picked up on that weren't coming from the retirees. which is what started this ball rolling. I mean, if you're submitting non-taxable funding into a health account, and you're in the same household, that shouldn't be an expense that's paid as a benefit by the village to the retiree. That was one glaring thing that I noticed.
But then again, it isn't spelled out that way.
It's not.
It isn't. It's very, very unclear.
Look at it, scrutinize what we think, with guidance would be the best, most reasonable things to cover.
The village is not covering the retirees' health insurance. They're saying we give you $300 a month and you can spend it as you will.
On insurance.
Well, no, it's a reimbursement thing. They have to, right now, they do have to submit a bill for something.
Yep.
It may be dental work, it may be eyeglasses, it may be, a doctor's visit, it may be
Prescriptions.
prescription drugs, it may be, some of them are for insurance payments.
Yeah, their premiums, part of their premiums.
Premiums, part of my premiums.
But we have to have it clear as to what we're gonna use it, or what they're gonna be able to use it for. Because when they go to write the checks, or we approve the checks,
I feel that all those things should be on the list. Personally.
I mean, we do, I did ask Jody, what our health insurance do we have now that we provide the employees with? And it covers, you said, hospitals, doctors,
Well, it's a high
Dental.
deductible plan,
it's a high deductible
but
plan.
the village picks up the deductible
right.
as well. But it does have coverage for dental, it does have coverage for glasses,
Okay.
it does have prescription coverage.
Okay. So what do we wanna do with the bills we have now?
I think we need to cover them. I feel like we made,
Okay, but we need to
We
be
told-
clear what we're paying for, because they're all over the place.
are they over the limit though?
No, because they can't get any more than the limit.
Yeah, they get $3,600 a year, and that is it, period. Done.
Now, some of them bill once a month, right, Jody? And some of them bill 6 months, maybe even a year at a time. So they've accumulated these bills over 6 months. And unfortunately, because we didn't do anything the last time, now it's come to where someone looks at it and says, we're not sure whether we're supposed to pay this or not.
This isn't the first time it was brought onto the table. It was done a few years back, and it was never really clarified then. We need to clarify this.
Now, at this point, to an extent, part of it is what we pay our general employees, our non-union people. That's between us and them. That's not a big deal. Now, the one with the Teamsters Union or the police union, that's part of a contract.
Yeah.
I mean, it specifically states that we will give them $300 a month for health insurance coverage. But we don't say what the health insurance covers or how we want to pay it. And I unless you put co-pays in there or something like that, a lot of these bills shouldn't have been paid because they are co-pays. It's out-of-pocket expenses they have.
I think for bookkeeping purposes, it's good to itemize what you're paying for instead of just like a blanket. You know what I mean?
They are. When they submit them, they're itemized. You don't just say, I spent $300, so give me $300. They are itemized and they have to prove that it was paid.
Yes, they have to have a receipt for them. I don't know if you read your email, there was a sample in there.
Yeah.
So
So I guess the question is, and correct me if I'm wrong, we're looking for direction on what we will reimburse for. Are we, we'd have to consult with someone to.
Well, if
give
you
us
say you're
guidance.
gonna pay co-pays, then you put certain categories in as the co-pays, the same ones covered by our insurance. You could do it that way. I don't know exactly how you would write that, so that it says for either a policy or co-pays on a policy that would be covered under our regular insurance, which is medical, dental, glasses, and prescription drugs.
Well, I think maybe come up with some categories that define it better, what this should be applied for, as you said.
But that's what we need you guys to
Right.
do.
That needs to be clarified.
Right.
So do you want to provide medical, hospital, dental, and glasses, and prescription drugs?
Prescriptions.
Those 5 things?
If you include them in there, then they'll be included.
Yeah.
Yes.
But then do you also, is it part of that person's, or past employees, is it part of their family that we also cover that under, or just the employee?
The only thing, when I looked at that, when we offer insurance, we also pay, but they have to pay 10% of their, if
New
it's a
hires
family
do.
plan?
New hires have to pay 10%, and the Teamsters, new hires have to pay 10% of the premium, regardless of what type of coverage.
Okay.
The police, they're a little bit different. Office or non-bargaining, they have to pay 10% of the 2-person or family coverage. And single is covered. So it's all different.
Okay. But everybody is offered a family plan, and we do pay some towards the family plan? So we
Yes.
do cover the family, so when we say health insurance, it doesn't say a single plan.
But you gotta back up and
I am.
reread your contracts.
I'm reading
Because
it.
you don't wanna rewrite a union negotiated contract either.
Oh, I'm just talking about the ones in the bargaining unit right now. I don't know what we can do. How many do we have out on the police or the DPW?
Retirees now, you mean?
Retirees. I know we have several who were just non-bargaining.
Right. And we have quite a few that were police, and we have a few that were through the DPW.
We have 3 that were office
Mhm.
related. We've got 6 from the police,
Yep.
and we've got 3 from DPW.
So the majority of them are under a bargaining unit.
Yes.
Only 3 of them are.
So 9 out of the 12, yes.
Now, have any of them ever submitted a bill for just insurance?
Yes. Just health insurance, yes.
Okay.
We have several that just do that.
So that, there's no question on that.
Correct.
Those are not a problem. Now, I don't know if the rest of them don't have any insurance, or they're just not submitting bills for their insurance.
I think everybody has insurance of some kind.
Well, I know I spend over $300 a month on insurance.
Okay.
Yeah, probably twice that much. So I don't know, unless they were to submit bills for their insurance itself, and they would just have to take care of their co-pays on their own. That would keep everything within the bargaining unit. But we still got, but this month, I know there's a lot of them that would not get anything this month.
No reimbursement, you mean?
No, because it wouldn't fall under that. It's everything.
You'd have to go through it and see how much of it's actually for the insurance and how much of it's co-pays.
With the exception of whether or not other family members can be included, it seems to me that co-pays, insurance, eye care, dental, all of those things should be covered under that $300 a month. And they have their $300 a month, and they can be reimbursed as they need to. It seems fairly cut and dry to me. I would say, honestly, I would say immediate family members should be included. But again, it's $300 a month. You're just getting to that limit, and they can choose how they want to spend it as long as it's health insurance, copay, prescription drugs. All of those things are health care, eye care. I would include all of those, and I would say if they want to include, spouses and children, immediate family members, that's fine. You get up to your limit. That's what I think. It seems simpler than we're making it to me.
Well, it's not. And under the health insurance plan that we have there, and this happens to be for the Teamsters, there is a Part B which says an opt-out of health insurance program which pays you $2,000 per fiscal year for non-reimbursed medical expenses. That's not $3,600.
But that's for the employee while they're still working.
Mm-hmm. But I'm just saying, so that was looked at, paying co-pays, but it was limited to $2,000 a year. So. I know it sounds like it should be real simple, it's not. Try collecting from your insurance company if you don't believe me.
Yeah. So what would we like to do, gentlemen?
We may have to do some homework and have a special meeting before the end of the month.
Well, we have this pile here that has
Well,
to be
no,
dealt with.
That's the end of the month,
Yeah. That was the end of the year.
end of the year.
It was
So
on-
it doesn't matter, we won't act on them
Well-
until we get direction,
Yeah,
so.
we can do that too, unless you don't
What
want
I'd
to
say is, what are our choices?
But
make, we
can
act on them now,
hold
or
them
like you
right
said,
now.
we do them,
This is not our fiscal year. This is
Acting on them
fiscal year.
means we pay these invoices that are in front of us.
if we act on paying them, yes, we authorize them to be paid.
Yeah.
Or, if we don't, we go over this policy bit and then we'll go through it that way.
I mean, if we tell the clerk to pay them, they will pay them. But it's not on them, it's on us. We're telling them to pay them. But we really need to address this before another month goes by.
I feel like we can't leave these people hanging. I think we need to pay these and then we can address it.
The thing is though,
Do going forward.
like I said, this has been brought up before and nothing's been done. We need to act on it. So if we're gonna act on it, it has to be done before next month.
So we could pay these, we could have a special meeting in like 2 weeks.
Whatever, we can do that, or,
I think you should, if you can't figure out your policy for tonight, I think we should wait.
Okay? And they pay them when we come up with a
When
policy?
you guys
Yep.
figure it out.
I don't think we're gonna come up with a policy sitting here tonight.
oh,
Okay.
absolutely not. So then,
Information in front of us.
then that's, should be your motion then, that we'll table this until we get a policy.
So what other
before-
information are you gonna need? Because this is some of the stuff that you could have asked for before,
Yeah,
like when I sent the email before, so that we could have maybe had more of a conversation. But what else are you looking for, so that we can get it for you?
I pretty much, I feel like, expressed my opinion on this. I think that they have their limit of $300 a month, and they can spend it as they need, or excuse me, be reimbursed as they need for eye care, health insurance, dental, anything that has to do with taking care of your physical health or your family's physical health.
Okay, so you just said you wanted more information, so that's why I wondered what more information I could get for you.
I believe I said that.
Didn't he?
Yeah, he did, but
Yeah.
I mean, if
All right.
is that adequate if we do that? Okay? You want to put that in the form of a motion?
I would move that our retirees can turn in their receipts for anything healthcare related for themselves or their immediate family, spouses and children, for the amount of $300 a month, and we will reimburse them.
Be specific on what you want to be able to be paid. What you just said,
Co-pays, health insurance, eye care, dental. Am I leaving anything out?
Prescription drugs?
Prescription drugs, excuse me.
Okay.
I think that's about everything. I'm not sure what else there would be.
And looking at another contract, or maybe taking another look at another union, a bargaining contract, seeing how they itemize contribution. You mentioned there's a percentage of...
Actually,
no. You can go sit down.
If you look at some of these, and as we said, most of these are members of the bargaining unit.
Right.
Most of them are not sending in a request for a payment of health insurance, correct, Jody?
I would say most of them are requesting for
Yeah.
premiums of their health
Yeah.
insurance.
I would say
There's
so
just a
too. There's
few
two of
others
them that are
are-
using it for everything.
Yes, which is why the questions came up.
Yep.
And some of, part of it's health insurance and part of it's co-pays.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Taking a closer look back at one of those bargained contracts can help us define what that new policy is going to be for non-bargaining reimbursements. So maybe that being more of a roadmap as we meet again on it.
We have a motion on the table, or no? Didn't you just make a
He
motion?
made a
Made a
motion.
motion. Does anybody want to second it? Okay. No action will be taken on that. What we'll do then is we will hold on these and then we will meet as soon as possible to come up with a decision on what we're going to do and how we're going to do it.
The motion would be the table.
It's going to be tabled and hopefully within the next 2 weeks we will have an answer so that it'll be taken care of and it'll be clearly written. Okay? So everybody please keep an eye on your emails if we have sent any more stuff out. If Jody finds anything else more or anybody else here, so just keep your eye on your emails. And once we get some more stuff here, we will have a meeting and we will get this resolved within the next 2 weeks. Okay? All right.
That's it. That's fair enough.
Yep. Okay. I see Dan, code enforcement came in. Dan,
Yes, sir.
you want to give a report on some of your information you've got?
In general, or something specific?
Pardon me?
General or something
Yeah,
specific?
just in general, what's been going on. I know that's what Steve used to do. He used to type up
Okay.
about things.
For those that don't know me, I'm Dan Wilbur. I'm the interim code officer. I'm sorry I didn't get to do typed up. I had to inter my mother today, so. Basically, been catching up from the absence of a code officer. There was a number of properties in town that had work done without permits, so we're working on catching up with them. Have issued a couple of permit applications that have been requested. Let's see, we have a couple of complaints in town as far as, one is sidewalks, so we're keeping an eye on that. And also 84 Mead Street, we have a problem with refuge, garbage. We have one tenant there that seems to have a problem with that, so we're keeping an eye on that one. Caught up on the, as far as I know, we're caught up on, no, you're good, stay there. I'm just checking to see if I see anything there. We're caught up on the request for certificate of occupancy searches for the usually attorneys that request that. Looking to move forward.
Anybody got any questions for code?
We spoke earlier.
Well, I think that everything right now has been going smooth, just as long as everybody knows that we do have a code. We do have a code enforcement. I know there's been a few things I've heard out there that we're on the honor system now, that you still need to come in and get a permit. You still need to
and
be.
we had a complaint on a house down here on Benton. I took care of that.
Yeah.
Got them on track. I basically gave them a 2-week time frame to get their act together and get that squared away.
Okay. Good deal. All right. You gonna be able to stick around till we're done?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll talk with you a little bit when we're done.
Yeah, sure. Absolutely.
Okay.
Could I go back for a minute?
Well, we never did finish your trustee report. We were still on you.
Oh,
No.
No. On this, should we pay the ones that have turned in claims for insurance? Because that is part of their contract,
Just the regular health?
just the regular health
Okay.
insurance?
Yeah.
That way
probably
we can
should.
get that done?
Yep.
Motion.
So we need to make a motion on that, don't we?
I heard Eric.
Okay.
I'll second it.
Motion made, seconded to pay the retirees that have submitted just insurance
Or any of
payments.
it, even if it's a partial payment?
Yeah, that's what I mean, any of those partials like that. So all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Stephen?
Yes, sir, I have no news to report to you.
Okay. Other than some of the emails we've got out of the treatment plant, I know I've seen this morning.
Yes, they had an accident
Pardon?
during the night because the power went out.
Oh, they said
Twice.
yeah, 2 power outages caused two glitches. Yeah. Okay. We're down, I don't have any right now, we've been going through everything. The 2021 Election Day designation of March 16th, 2021.
Yep, the board needs to make a motion designating the election day, where it is, and the hours. So I propose that we do it on March 16th at the Village Hall from noon to 9.
Noon to 9.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Motion made, seconded to hold the elections here, March 16th from noon to 9. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. We've already worked on that one. Does anybody have anything else? If I would like to go into executive session if we could for a little bit. Talk about some contract.
We have the same election workers, or do we have to make another decision on or hiring?
We won't need to do that until February.
Okay. That's it.
Okay. Motion for going into executive?
Motion.
Second.
Motion made, seconded to go into executive session. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?